Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unnies.
Hey, everybody.
Hello!
And hi there. I feel like we have to say all three.
I know, right? We have to complete the trifecta before we can talk. It's like, I don't know.
We're conditioned. It doesn't feel right. But the question is, do you know who's talking right now? Those of you listening.
I hope so.
Leah and I what if we never said?
Leah and I had a pod, just the two of us, a little bit ago, and we said, we're like, okay, this is who. So yes, I am Megan.
And I am Amy.
Yeah, I feel like maybe we should be doing that every podcast. I just feel like
introduce ourselves.
I don't know.
So I listened to because I talked before on the podcast how I watched the TV show Severance, and I also listened to the Severance podcast, which is with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott, the director and the star of the show. And they always start off by saying, like, this is the Severance podcast with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott. I'm Ben, and I'm I
know. I'm like, should we be doing? Because I do listen to some podcasts, and they introduce themselves every time. But then I have noticed that there are some where they do just assume you know everyone.
Right. If it's something you listen to all the time.
Yeah, like I'm listening to one right now that I've never listened to. And it's three men, and their voices are very similar. And it's a kind of like a history. Well, right now they're talking about the story of the Batavia, which is that shipwreck that turned into like Cannibal City on an island. I don't know if you've ever heard of the history of the Batavia ship, but it's crazy. That's what they're talking about. And so they're also doing voices because even though it's not funny, they're like pretending to be this like psychopath ship merchant that like killed a bunch of people. And so they're like doing voices too. So I'm like, I have no idea who these guys are. Yeah. I don't know who's who. I just know they're doing a great job. I think it's called like The Last Podcast on the Left or something like that. It's of course true crime, but
voices are important. And that like kind of brings me to K-dramas. I've had like a long-standing issue. I love my son. My son's wonderful. And he has watched a couple of things with me. Like he watched All of Us Are Dead, and he watched Train to Busan with me. But he watched Squid Game on his own, both seasons of Squid Game on his own. And when he watches Korean stuff on his own, he watches it dubbed.
So does my son.
And the argument that I keep making with him, and like he's going to do what he wants, and that's totally fine. But the argument that I make with him, because he knows who Gong Yu is, obviously, like, he's watched Squid Game and he's watched Train to Busan. I'm like, you cannot get the full effect of Gong Yu if it's not Gong Yu's voice.
I know.
Voices make a difference.
Like I get that some things need to be dubbed, and it makes it more accessible to people.
For sure, absolutely. I get it. I'm not.
We're not.
My
we're not talking about that.
My son doesn't have any accessibility
exactly.
issues. Yeah, I'm not.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah, I'm not dinging accessibility here because I'm all for that.
Right.
But he has watched with subtitles, and we watch regular TV with subtitles.
Same.
Like we just do that. It's just his preference is that he doesn't want to have to read if he doesn't have to.
That's the way my son is too. Whereas it was funny because my daughter the other day, she was like, "Did you know that some K-dramas are just dubbed? Like it's another voice?" Like she like just discovered this, and I was like, "I did." I said, "Not all K-dramas are dubbed. Like that's actually only reserved, I think, for the ones that they think are going to make a lot of money." But I said, "Yeah, I am aware." She's like, "I don't like it," and I was like, "Good, yeah, of course you don't, because you're my daughter." Right. Like, and she watches them all. Because the voices do make.
I mean, like, I think about, Love Between Fairy and Devil, which is not Korean, it's, Chinese, but I think about Love Between Fairy and Devil and the common practice of dubbing Chinese voices with other Chinese voices in C-dramas because voices are so important to them.
It's wild.
Yeah. And the fact that, Dylan Wong it's not his voice in that. Even though I love him to pieces.
And Orchid, I love her. I love the little, it's like a fairy voice. That's like Orchid's voice. Yeah,
it is. This is all just to say that I'm just kind of bridging the gap here into dramas and stuff, and how I can't imagine not knowing Gong Yu's voice. And I'm glad that I do. But yes, accessibility is very important.
Right.
but I also want my son to appreciate the Korean language.
Right. That's, I mean, that
Yeah.
too. I think so. My daughter listens to K-pop too. So I think it's kind of like really lately we've been like listening to a playlist every time I drive her to hockey. Hockey's like 35 minutes away. So we have like a lot of time and we
Yeah.
sit and we listen to, and she has favorites and I have favorites and it's really cute. So I think, she's starting to, well, she's been pretty appreciative of the language and everything.
Yeah.
So, this is uncensored, so this is the one where we kind of like talk about whatever we want to talk about. And
Without Leah tonight.
without Leah tonight,
Yeah.
without the middle child.
Okay, I have to say something really quick
Yep,
about the middle child. First of
go
all,
ahead.
Leah is celebrating her husband's 50th birthday, so we want to say happy birthday to Nick, even though this
Oh,
is going to
yes.
come out like 2 weeks after his birthday.
He's over the
But
hill.
yes, hey, I'm 50.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Roll that back. No, the middle child thing, hilarious, because I'm sure she sent it to you too. I think she tagged us both in our stories the other day. And it was like a little news excerpt about the middle child being like the best and how
Mhm.
like the smartest or the most successful
Yeah.
or something or whatever. And it was like a local news affiliate. So I'll point that out. It was a local news affiliate, but it was a local Fox News affiliate. So when Leah tagged me in that, I just wrote back Fox News equals fake news.
Yeah. It's not real, Leah. No, if she wants that title, she can have it. I mean, Leah is the one sometimes when we've all had long days and sometimes we get on the podcast and like we want to record, but like our brains aren't working at full speed. Somehow Leah managed to pull things out of her ass. And it is honestly amazing that
Yeah.
the topics, she's just like, you know what? I just thought of this in the last 10 seconds.
She's an articulate conversationalist.
Yeah, she's really good at
She
it.
is. I am not. This is why I don't talk to Uber drivers or cab drivers. And they can tell that I'm not an articulate conversationalist, so they don't talk to me either. It's not a
um,
vibe. Okay. So anyway, bridging the
yeah,
gap into K-dramas because this is a K-drama podcast.
right.
I will put myself out there in saying that I have not watched anything since finishing Love Scout because I'm in a new day job right now and it's been crazy. And I'm also writing a new book and I'm on a deadline. And so I have not started anything new, but I have
Fair.
been dying to.
Hmm.
The next one on my list that I was going to start immediately and then didn't is My Dearest Nemesis. So I'm excited to hear about what you're watching because I think that is on your list.
Yeah. So I started My Dearest Nemesis. And so I think I watched an episode and a half. So like anything I say is not really a spoiler because it's like one episode. Um, so first of all, I love Moon Ga Young. I have liked her since Tempted. Wait, am I saying? Yeah, I think that's the right name. She's the female lead. I've loved her since Tempted. I don't know. I just like her. I think she's a great actress, and I like the roles she plays. So I love her. And then there is Choi Hyunuk, who is the male lead, and there is something about him. To me, he has sex appeal, like, in a way that not all actors do. There's something about him that just, like, gets me.
Then why didn't you watch Twinkling Watermelon?
I know. Well, because he was in a school uniform there. He's not in a school. I got you. I so
But
got
you
you.
watched Lovely
I know.
Runner. It's a
I
time
know.
travel school uniform.
I know. But he is, like a chaebol, kind of, or at least we
Yeah.
don't know much. We know he's, like, somehow a part of a rich I don't actually, like, know his background yet, so that's what I'm saying. All I know is he's, like, he has the favor of some rich chairwoman. Apparently, he's her grandson, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, but he just he has so much sex appeal, but the banter between the two of them is so good. I personally think they have great chemistry. Again, it's only one episode, but, like, I'm really loving the chemistry between them. And they very much have this, like, enemies to lovers well, they're only enemies right now, and it's great. And there's also like an element of fate to it because they kind of keep running into each other. One thing that Choi Hyun-yuk's character is like mad about is like she seems to always find him in like compromising positions. Like she keeps seeing things about him that he's trying to keep hidden, and it's always her. So he's like, "Oh, she's the enemy. Like she's dangerous, and she's the enemy, and I need to take her out because she is going to like expose all my secrets." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so charming. Like I'm just really loving it. I had asked in our Patreon, like, "Oh, should I start Undercover High School?" Just because I
Like
think the
21
prep
Jump Street, right?
yeah, I think the premise sounds kind of cool. Like, yeah, it's about like this like guy who goes undercover as a high school student. So he can like he's kind of a badass, but he has to pose as a high school student. And someone I think it was Claudia, but she was like, I really think you should watch My Dearest Nemesis. I think you'll like it. And correct.
Okay,
Because it
good.
is
Good, because I am going to start it.
it's truly charming. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, Amy will love this. Like
What
I
what
also
what streaming channel is it on?
so this is on
Vicky, Disney, or Netflix or Prime?
wait a minute. It's on is it on Viki or Hulu?
Hulu. So to me, that's Disney.
Yeah, sometimes for some reason mine oh no, it's on Viki. It's on
Okay.
Viki. My Dearest Nemesis. It's
Okay.
delightful.
So I have a question for you. Do
Yeah.
you know, like, I'm guessing he's the second lead just because of where he's billed on Asian Wiki, Kwak Seong. Do you recognize him
So
from
that is I
from
think he's
Cafe
going
Minimdong? He's from Cafe Minimdong. He's the
oh
second
my
lead in Cafe Minimdong.
god. You're right. Okay, so this is what's funny. In Cafe Minimdong, he was that like big he was kind of like this big dork with a bad hair.
Like
Well, not dork,
goofy,
but
yes, like but
goofy
goofy.
with that bad
But
haircut.
he is, and like he acted so well with his face that he was not traditionally handsome in Cafe Minimdong, but he is
Right.
a very handsome man.
He is. And in My Dearest Nemesis, he's like the most handsome man. Like all the women have crushes on him. He's super charming. That's how he's presented to us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Um,
And it's wild to go back and like look at stills of him from Cafe Minimdong because
right.
he was so goofy.
Yeah, it's really I'm just really loving it. It's really
Okay, good.
fun.
I
I
am definitely going to start it this weekend.
I'm hoping it fulfills the kind of promise that I feel like is in episode 1. Does that make sense? Again, I've only
Yes.
seen I think there's like 6 episodes out right now or maybe 5. I'm not sure. But
I
to
think it's
me,
a good sign when something starts off well. I
I
hope.
know.
I mean, look, I was distrustful, mistrustful, distrustful.
Mm,
I was
same thing.
distrusting after When the Phone Rings
I know because it
because that
really took
started
a
off with a
dive.
bang
It did. It did.
and
It
did
did.
not end
I know.
the way that I wanted
So,
to.
but
But
this
then
is pretty delightful.
Love Scout, I fell in love with the first episode and I
Correct.
loved it all the way through.
Love Scout held up till the end. If you like episode 1 of Love Scout, you're going to like I find okay, I shouldn't speak in absolutes, but 95% of the people who liked episode 1 are still going to love it at the end. It's a very like the drama stays at the
And we're
level
doing a we're doing a deep dive on it.
correct. Yeah. And I loved it. So, yes, My Dearest Nemesis, I'm into. I think it's worth starting. Um I also watched Newtopia. So, Newtopia is on Prime
Okay.
and it stars Jisoo from Blackpink. And it's very weird. So again, there were only 3 episodes at the time I sat down to watch it, and I watched all 3. And it's like a
A
zombie
zombie
apocalypse.
comedy?
It is. It almost reminds me a bit of Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, I love Shaun of the Dead.
Okay, yeah, it's
What about Zombieland? Have you seen the Zombieland
I
movies?
haven't
I
I
love those
haven't.
too.
It's so like the zombie stuff's at least so far, it's not like viscerally um violent because there's this just element of well, comedy to it.
Yeah.
I would say my only issue is that it felt like I didn't get to know any of the characters. It reminded me a little bit of Chicken Nugget in that in Chicken Nugget, you're like presented these characters and you never really get to know them deeper. Like the whole point is like that comedic plot. And that's the way Newtopia is. And I'm like, maybe we won't get to know much about these characters. Maybe the point is this like comedic plot. And then it's also like the total like incompetence of like the military.
Oh God.
Um, so I don't know where it's gonna go. I think I'm gonna keep watching it because I'm curious. I mean, Jisoo is in it. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I might give it a shot. I didn't dislike it. I just am not quite sure where it's going. And I also was like in the mood for something deeper, I think. I don't know if I'm like, do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there's also like, there's a plane crash in the middle of Seoul.
Ooh,
And like, I just am not,
that's a little too close to home.
I'm not in the headspace for plane crashes, people. Okay.
No.
So I guess I just wasn't thrilled about that. Does that, and that's not the drama's fault either. This was
No,
probably filmed.
it's Trump's fault.
It's so I just was not. I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to watch this right now. You know what I mean?
I'm right there with you.
Um, and then I finished study group. And look, I don't know what I'm gonna do about study group. Like, I feel like I need my own deep dive to talk about this drama. I posted on Instagram about how I was loving study group, and we had several people who were like, I started this just because you posted about it and I'm in love with it. And I'm like, as you should be.
It sounds really great,
So yeah, so study
but
group
it sounds very violent.
it is. So study group is about these high school students who all they want to do is form a study group to get better grades. And the main character is Min Hyun, who was our brooding second male lead in Alchemy of Souls. But in this, he's like this high school student who is not book smart. Okay, like at all. He's not even really street smart either. But he can fight. And I'm talking like comic book levels of fighting, like defying physics fighting.
Does he have powers?
Not in a way that's ever like, oh, he's got superpowers.
Okay.
But it, he can clearly punch harder than literally anyone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I kind of likened it a little bit to Kill Bill in the way you remember, like she almost had like these like otherworldly powers, but she wasn't presented as anything paranormal. Right. And that's the way this is. He's like just presented as a guy who's really strong. Okay. And there are a couple times where I mean, it's very self-aware, but another character will be like, geez, you're like a superhero, which yes, I mean, that is a little bit how he's presented, but there's no explicit like, you know.
Okay.
And it's just what's so like there's something innocent about it despite the violence. Also most of the violence does feel comic book like. None of it feels like the glory violence was like, oh my God, this is brutal. And even though there's like bullying in study group, it doesn't feel like that.
Okay.
But the innocence of it is like Min Hyun just wants to study to get better grades. He wants to go to college. Okay. That's his goal. That's what he wants to do. But he realizes he can't do this on his own. He's like, I need a study group. This is the only way I'm going to get better grades is if I find a bunch of students and we all study together. This is the only way I'm going to get better grades. So there's an element of this like teamwork that is very apparent because he's clearly the best fighter. Like he doesn't, but yet he only like sort of fights for good. Like he never like attacks other people or like very rarely. It's always like him defending his friends. And he's also like, but we're a team. Like I know I'm the best fighter, but we're a team. And what's funny is like, if anyone says they want to study and someone tries to prevent them from studying, it like awakens a rage inside him. And he's like, no, you will let them study. Like, do you know what I'm saying? There's like this cute innocence to it. It's almost like he has a code word and he hears like study. And he's like, he's gotta make sure that they're able to study. That's so important to him. And
I would make a Marvel reference and say he's like Winter Soldier, but you wouldn't get it. So anybody listening, if you get the Marvel Winter Soldier reference, thank you.
okay, yeah. And it's sweet. I like it. Um and the violence didn't bother me because it felt different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it sounds
Um
very unique.
yeah, it was really unique. It was so good. And it was just and it stayed good the entire time. Like I think it continued to get better. Like it was just
Maybe we need to do an episode where we deep dive the three of us together, three solo projects, and you can talk about study group,
I
and
could,
Leah
yeah.
can talk about When the Stars Gossip, and I
Yes.
could talk about any handful of things that I have watched that you guys
Right.
haven't.
That's true because I really could. I mean, I love study group and our Patreon also like just it seemed to get um a lot of praise as it should because it was really good and I do believe there will be a season 2. They teased it. Of course, K-dramas have let us down where they don't give us a season 2, but they did tease a season 2, which based on like how the dialogue was at the end, I could kind of see it was like leaning that way. But it was still very wrapped up. Like if you're like concerned that there's no season 2, the story's wrapped up. Like, and it just felt, God, I was in the headspace, Amy, where I was like, I just want to watch bad guys get the shit kicked
Punching.
out of them.
Yeah, just
Like
watch some punching.
I want to watch bad guys fall,
Lose.
like
Yeah.
lose. That's what I want to watch. And I want to see them lose badly. And
Yeah.
that's what this was. This was seeing bad guys get what they deserved physically, emotionally, and monetarily. Like, like all of it.
Financially.
Can I think of the word? I was like, money stuff.
So it was a good catharsis.
Yeah, so that's what I've been watching. So I just wanted to like get it out there and let everyone know and let me know if there's something I'm not watching that you guys are all watching. Let me know. I might still start Undercover High School just because I could watch more people kicking the shit out of bad guys always. And I don't think I'm getting that in my dearest nemesis. I don't think there's gonna be
No.
like a lot of
I'm looking forward to another good romance.
I think you'll watch the first episode and you'll be like, "Oh my God, I love like this is what I'm into."
Yeah, no, that is definitely next on my list. I just need to catch up with the rest of my life right now.
Totally fair. I totally get it. I had like some time and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna watch a few things.
Yeah, and I mean, and I've talked about it before, but for anybody who's listening who might not know, like I have two kids. One's in college, my daughter, and my son is still here. And my son is with me half the time, with his dad half the time. And when he's here, we have shows that we watch together. But for a while, none of our shows were new. And so we were like slowly making our way through Supernatural, but there was no rush. Supernatural is going to be there forever, whatever. And then all of a sudden, like in the past few weeks, like all of our shows that I watch with my son have come back. And so we watch.
And I love that.
Yeah, we watch Severance. We watch this animated show called Invincible. It's based on a comic book on Prime. And we also watch Reacher, which is on Prime. And Reacher just dropped its first 3 episodes last Thursday. Invincible dropped its first 3 episodes like the week before. And so, because Prime does that, it'll drop 3 episodes at a time and then go week to week. So
that's what they did with Newtopia.
Yeah. So we've literally just like caught up with all of those things. Like I literally just caught up, and then Reacher and Invincible both dropped tomorrow and Severance drops on Friday. So this is just to say that when my son goes to his dad's on Saturday and I finally have a night to myself, I love watching shows with him, but I'm going to start My Dearest Nemesis on Saturday.
And you will be very happy. Like,
I'm
really.
excited.
I was like, this is an Amy show. I think Leah would like it too. But this is the thing about Leah is sometimes she's a little bit more like me in that I think she is in certain moods for things. Yeah. And if she's in that mood, like she's going to stay there. Whereas I feel like Amy, you're a little bit more predictable. Like I like know kind of like what you
I like what I liked.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, sometimes I will go outside the box and like things that I wouldn't
Yeah,
normally gravitate towards.
right.
I wouldn't have watched All of Us Are Dead if my son didn't watch it with me because I need that support. But I loved it, you know?
I know. So
Um,
good.
yeah, we like what we like. And
Mhm.
I will never turn down a good romance.
Well, I
So
think Leah finished When the Stars Gossip, and I actually haven't gotten a rundown on how she feels
no,
about
I
the
haven't heard.
finale. Yeah, so we will get back to you on that because I'm sure she has many thoughts, as you all do, on the ending of When the Stars Gossip. I actually went on Drama Beans and read the ending, and it's wild. It's
I'll
wild.
read it. I'll read it. I'm fine with spoiling it. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna watch it. And
I'm not gonna watch
I
it.
hate that I'm saying that, but like
Sorry,
it's not the
Eamon.
Lehman Ho I was looking for.
Right, right.
Which reminds me I still have to go back and finish Pachinko. Like what happened? I started watching season 2 and then got sidetracked.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it happens.
it is uncensored. And as we always do for our uncensored episodes, we like to take it to the Patreon to, anybody want to unburden themselves, ask us questions. And I'm gonna skip to one right now. Because Pachinko just made me think of it. And I want to give credit to the person who asked about it. Intros.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Carlene.
who's Caroline mentioned, but there's also It's Okay. So
Mm,
Ruth talks about It's Okay to Not Be Okay, has the most beautiful opening credits I've ever seen.
mm.
Um, and then somebody else brought it up too. Yeah, Caroline brought up a study group for opening credits to never skip.
Mm.
And some other opening credits to never skip were, like Love Between Fairy and Devil, um, and Pachinko. Like Pachinko was the first one when I first watched season 1 of Pachinko. I think that was the first time that I was like, I will watch this opening every time. No, first time since Goblin, because Goblin I watched the opening every time. And I do think that the OST has something to do with that too, right? Like I love the song in the opening of Goblin. I love the music in the opening of Pachinko. And they did a different one for season 2 and I still love it. But yeah, do you watch opening credits? If you like them, will you rewatch it? Or if you've seen it once, are you good?
So usually I'm good. I almost always skip it. A lot of times to me they're like a little throwaway. Like it's like I okay, like My Dearest Nemesis. I'm not watching that opening. It's I don't need like silly little cartoon characters kind of like it's just never my
Yeah.
thing. But I do have to agree with Carlene who said study group. I love the intro to study group. So the intro to study group, it kind of had like a comic book type background that felt very like youthful. It was like the perfect vibe for the drama. That's another thing. It fit the drama perfectly. And then there was a song. It was like a rap song. And it is like an earworm. It's so fun. It's so cool. And I love that intro. And I would listen to the song every time. So that kind of I if it's a good song, like music with lyrics, I think I'm
Yeah.
more likely and if I feel like the vibe of it really fits the drama. Like Goblin, yes. Like that song and that intro, it's so haunting and beautiful. I will watch that. But like like rom-com intros are always
Yeah,
a
no,
no.
I
And
agree. Yeah, I
like
usually
loves
don't.
yeah, like Love Scout intro, I was like, like all those I'm gonna fast forward through for the most part. I'm just not a big intro person, but if it's a good song,
That's
it's
why I say I think the OST has something to do with it.
absolutely. Yeah. Um so I like this one because I was actually just thinking about this or I think about this every time I finish an episode. So she said, this is Kate and she wants to know if we watch like the teasers that always come at the end of the episodes or if we skip teasers. And this is funny to me because when my husband and I used to watch shows together, we called it, I don't know why we called it this, but we would always call it videos from the next because it would always be like I don't know why. We would just call it from the next and we would watch like the teasers for the next episode and we used to like theorize sometimes about things. Um And I like doing that. And also, a lot of times, by the time I watch the next episode, I would forget about
Mhm.
the teasers. I would forget. I wouldn't really remember what it was. I do not like that when I am watching, especially if I'm binging a drama. I absolutely loathe, to be honest, watching. I will make sure I don't see them, the scenes from the next episode, because then I find myself waiting for those scenes to come up when I'm watching the next episode. Does that make sense? And I'm
Mhm.
trying, and it's almost like distracting because I'm not paying attention to what's going on. I'm like, well, when's that scene gonna come? And how is that? And well, they were wearing these clothes in that scene, so when are they wearing those clothes again? It's just distracting. And half the time they fake you out, which is always
They
really,
always fake you out. That's what I was gonna say is,
I
like, I
hate
don't
it.
trust them. And I'm with you. If I'm binging, I don't watch them because I don't need to because I'm just going to the next episode, and I don't wanna fake out when I'm diving right into the next
Yes, I
episode.
don't want to fake out when I'm. Yep,
But if I'm watching something currently airing, I will watch it because I do want to have an idea of where it's going.
fair, fair.
But
I don't think I'd
like,
ever
it's
do that.
always a fake out, so I never trust it
Yeah.
because it's always something to make you think something terrible is gonna happen, and then it doesn't.
I hate that. I hate the fake outs. It makes me mad because again, then the whole time I'm worried, and then all of a sudden, like the actual scene plays out, and I'm like, well, then I was stressed for nothing.
Right. Just don't trust it. Yeah.
Don't trust it.
I don't
So
trust it.
yeah, I don't watch them. I don't even watch them for currently airing shows anymore because it just makes me mad.
I do for currently, yeah, but not for binging. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
just going to the next episode. I don't wanna know what you think I wanna see. I wanna see it.
yeah,
Okay, just because I need to get this out of the way.
yeah. Let's get this one out of the
Gavin,
way. Jesus, Gavin.
Gavin, Gavin. Gavin always likes to ask stuff that is either very difficult to answer or makes me wanna throw up in my mouth a little bit. So, in lieu of Leah being absent, you're a contestant on a game show where the prize is $1,000,000. Let me tell you, when I was reading through this before we got on tonight, and I saw that first line, I'm like, I know exactly what he's gonna say next. I know exactly what he's gonna say, and he did. The final challenge, though, is you have to suck the feet. Not the he doesn't even say the toes. He says you
Yeah,
have
the
to
whole
suck
foot, the whole foot, Gavin.
like, heel? Do I have to nibble on a heel?
The ball of the foot.
You have to suck the feet of one drama actor. Who's the actor of your choice to have their little piggies nibbled on?
And that was Gavin wrote that whole thing.
Yeah.
He's the one who said piggies. So it's actually really easy for me. I'm just gonna the very first actor that came to mind is Lee Dong-wook, and that's it. That's it. Because I bet that man I mean, I bet he takes luxurious showers. Like I bet he is clean from head to toe. I believe it. Don't ruin my fantasy. I just trust him. I trust him to have clean feet. That's basically all I gotta say. And I love him.
And he has gorgeous manicured toes, like
He does. You know he
pedicure
does.
toes. He does.
You know he does.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably most K-drama actors are getting those feet buffed and polished. But anyway, I went right to Lee Jun-hyuk, speaking of Love Scout.
Mm,
Um, because Love Scout's the only thing I really know him from, like as a lead, I'm having a hard time separating him from, from Eunho.
yeah,
And
I get it.
look, he would absolutely have beautiful feet.
Mhm.
Like
He'd soak them in
there's
chlorine for you.
there's no way. Like, they're beautiful, they're clean, they're taken care of. Um and I mean, he's got it marked on his whiteboard calendar
Clean feet.
monthly to get his pedicure. So there, Gavin.
Oh god, I love it. I love
You
it.
thought you thought
You thought
that
we wouldn't answer.
you would enrage us,
I know.
which you did a
No.
little bit. But no.
It it maybe enraged Amy for a little bit. I thought it was funny. But yeah, but again, I had an actor on the tip of my tongue. Like Lee Dong-wook, because that was the first one that came to mind, and I was like, I would ride or
For a
die
million
for me.
dollars, for $1 million, I'll
Yeah.
I'll nibble. I'll take a little nibble. But
I'll take a little nibble.
in real life, if there's no money involved, keep keep your feet away from me.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. How has watching K-dramas changed you? This is from Heather. Personally, I eat a lot more noodles now and incorporate the phrase kaja into daily life. And Carlene says, for me, it's jinja, muttered to myself. I do mutter jinja to my like jinja.
Ninja?
Like I love saying it. It's probably my favorite Korean word.
Somebody else also said that they do it with kinchana, and I like
Oh,
that one too.
Quintana. Yeah,
Yeah,
we were actually in Orlando and we were on the shuttle bus taking us to the park and there was a father with two girls and they were speaking Korean. And like I
you're
recognized
picking out words. Yeah,
first of all I was proud of myself. I picked out words and of course my husband is like, stop talking. But of course I'm like lean over and I was like, because she looked at her dad and goes, Jinja? And I was so excited. And I was like, Neil, I knew that word. And he's like, okay. And then I think she says, Quintana, she said a bunch of words that like I knew and I got really, really excited about. But when she looked at him and said Jinja, I was just so thrilled. It's my
I see.
favorite word.
I would be afraid that because I have a tendency to like want to speak the accent of like a place that I am. Like when we went on a cruise and we were in London, like it was very hard to like not want to speak in a British accent everywhere
Totally.
we went. And
Fair.
I would be afraid that if I like even if it was here like in the States, but I was like somewhere next to like a Korean family and I'm with my family and I hear them talking and I'm picking out words, I'd be afraid that like like the bus stops or the train stops and we get off and I'd be like, "Kaja,
Yeah. I
that's
know, right?
everyone."
I'd like
And
embarrass
they'd hear
myself.
me and be like, "She's a poser."
Yeah, right. I know. They're really cute too. They had little Harry Potter robes on, so they were like teenagers. They weren't like little girls, but they're clearly very excited, so I hope they had a good time.
That's awesome.
Uh-huh. So yeah, I say that. And what's funny is for my birthday, I think we're gonna go get Korean barbecue. 'Cause
Awesome.
look, I love it. Like and the whole family likes it. Um, so little things like that, but then I also feel like it's not even, like, in the Korean aspect, I just feel like overall, I'm starting to find myself more appreciative of different cultures
Absolutely.
in general, in a way that I think I wasn't before, um, which I think, has made me a better person, so I do appreciate that influence that K-dramas has had on me.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do yeah, I do think we came to this with just like we needed something to bring us joy during the pandemic, but then I do think it's kind of just broadened my interest in media and culture, like, you know, outside of,
Mhm.
because now like I have a subscription to Viki. Yes, I got it for K-drama, but like I've watched other things on there and I like that I have this option now of not having to just rely on Western entertainment, and getting to sort of broaden my horizons. But also, like, it's bled over a little bit, like, my joy of this, even though I haven't quite, like, converted my kids into wanting to, you know, explore everything, all things Korean, it's bled over to and it's, that it's given me something to share with my son that we did watch
Right.
like, zombie stuff together. And even with my daughter, we started connecting more when she was a teenager with like stuff that she was reading and she was finally reading like all my young adult stuff. And, we got into all of the Jenny Han books and, to all the boys I've loved before and the movies that came from those. And then they made a spin-off series called Exo Kitty,
Mm.
with the younger sister. And Exo Kitty, even though it is a Western TV show on Prime, it is very much a K-drama crossover because, you know, Kitty goes to study abroad in Seoul. And we have this great K-drama crossover and my daughter, watched and I watched season 1 together And even though she hated me like blurting things out every time, I'd be like, that's a K-drama trope. That's a K-drama trope. They're totally doing K-dramas here.
Yeah.
And I was really, really excited about that. So it
Yeah.
also has like, sort of broadened that connection of what I share with my kids, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm same. I mentioned that my daughter watches K-dramas, so she has Vicky now. Well, she like has same account as mine. But she has been watching dramas on Vicky. She just finished Bloodhounds. She watched Bloodhounds.
Wow.
Yeah, because she loves Udawan. So, and she's been watching some Thai BLs on iQIYI. I gave her iQIYI.
Wow.
And she also downloaded the GMM TV app as well. I mean, she's just like pouring through stuff. That's like, and I would say she's also like been on her, like she's on her phone, but she's like watching shows. And if she's going to be on her phone, I'd rather her be like watching entertainment, especially entertainment from like other cultures,
Yeah, absolutely.
um, than like being on TikTok or something. So, it's been good. And then she'll talk to me about them. And I was surprised she watched Bloodhounds, but she was like really into it. Like she was like, we were, she was at her field hockey tournament between games and she was on her phone. And Neil's like, my husband was like, can you get off your phone and sit with your teammates? She was watching Bloodhounds. I'm like,
I
Hazel, between
love it.
games? Like, girl.
I love it. Does she have the same feeling about Isang Yi that we do? That like,
I have to ask her about that. I have to ask her about that. But yeah, so that's been fun too. And even like my husband and my son, like they love Korean food. And my husband, another thing, we drink Maxim every day.
oh yeah, I have Maxim in the house all the time.
My husband's obsessed. Like he drinks it every day. He drinks it. That's like his like after dinner coffee is
It's
Maxim.
delicious.
And it is funny because he knows it's Korean, but he like teases me and he'll just say a different Asian country every time. Like he's like, I'm enjoying this Malaysian coffee. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean like foods and stuff too. Like I buy Kopiko and I love that coffee candy so much.
Mm.
Even though it is sold to me so hard
So
in
hard.
K-dramas, especially in Love Scout. My
I was
gosh.
just gonna say Love Scout.
Kopiko
They
carried that drama.
did. They got
But I
all their
love
work
it.
done
It's
because
delicious. Does it wake me up? I don't think so, but it's delicious. Yeah, so like, candy and stuff, like I love Kopiko. Yeah, I love Maxim. It's yeah, it's fun stuff. And another way that it's changed me is that I love K-drama storytelling so much, especially in romance, that I pilfer stuff from K-dramas and put it in my books. Like I
yeah.
put K-drama tropes in my books now all the time. Is there blowing on wounds all the time in my books? Absolutely.
I love it. How it's changed my writing has been or not even my writing, but even just like how I think about stories. K-dramas have really changed that. In a way for the better. And I find myself like analyzing movies differently. Um and other shows. I find myself like I think K-dramas do a really good job typically with hooks.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes the blurbs aren't always the best, but once we watch the
But
drama,
they're
the
not
hooks are
they're
very
not
clear.
written for a Western audience.
Correct. But I think the K-dramas themselves typically do a really good job with
Yeah.
hooks. And that's helped me too. Like sit down and like think about the hook before I really delve into writing a book or something like that.
Yeah, they're really good at it.
Yeah. So I like this one by Jennifer M. What is your dream cast and location theme for a Korean travel reality show or variety show? I feel like how fun would it be if they did something like oh what's the one that with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie? What was that called?
Oh, where they were like lived on a farm.
Well, they would like put them in just like really different situations and
Yeah.
I love that. Like why don't you take um like I want to see like K-drama actresses or the best actually would be some K-pop idols. Take some female K-pop idols or a K-pop group and just like throw them in like I don't know, Nebraska
On like a dude
on like
ranch.
a dude ranch. That
Do
would
you know
be so fun. That would
do you
be
know who
so
I
fun
want
to
to
watch.
see on a dude ranch together? Like
So,
I forever want to see them bromancing is Gong Yu and Lee Dong-wook.
that's another thing. Put them literally anywhere in the world and I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Like anywhere in the world. Actually, Urawan Isangi, anywhere
Yeah.
in the world. Just put them somewhere. I would love it. Somewhere that it's hot and there's not a
Wait,
lot of shirts.
okay, speaking of somewhere that it's hot and
Yeah.
Korea, this is like a non sequitur, but it's still connected. My mom and my stepdad are always on a cruise, like somewhere,
Right, they
right?
are.
Oh, they just got back from like a 15-day like um Mexico and Panama Canal cruise. Okay. Just got back from that and they're booking stuff. Like my mom's going on another cruise in March with just her girlfriends. Um, I think I don't know if it's this summer or it might already be this summer. I can't even keep track. But I knew they were booking a trip to Japan. And I said, "You're going to be so close to South Korea. Like, how are you
Yeah.
not going to South Korea?"
Yeah.
Well, they finally, like, they were looking into that trip and they finally booked the trip, and the trip includes a few days in Seoul.
Stop.
She's like, it's Seoul. And then it's one other location outside of Seoul. I forget what it is. I said, is it Jeju
I'm
Island,
just gonna
Mom?
say it's Jeju. It's
She
Jeju.
said, yes, that's it. I'm like,
Jeju.
damn it, Mom. You're going before me.
Go to Paradise, Mom. Go to Paradise Hotel and tell us how it is.
I'm
Tell
like,
us
I
that the
can't
food
believe
is
you're
really
going to
good.
Jeju.
I know. Before
So,
me?
yeah, before me.
Rude.
I know. Well, I mean, speaking of, so when's the Afternoona group cruise happening? This is from Courtney. And like, look, Courtney, we're planning a pilgrimage. We're
We
gonna
are,
do
but
it.
girl, I don't know if you're getting me on a cruise. Okay, I'm just telling you that
I don't want to
I'm
do
not
a
a cruise.
cruise. I don't want to
Yeah,
do a
but
cruise.
yes,
Because I do want, but I do want to see multiple places in Korea. Like I want to go to Seoul. I want to go to Busan. I want to go to Jeju.
same. We
So
will do something.
yeah,
We're working on it. Just might take us a few years or 10, but we'll get there. Okay,
we're gonna do it.
we're gonna do it, and we're gonna bring you with us somehow. Um, we just have to. Yeah, we have to get there.
Otherwise, you can go with my mom.
Yeah. Actually, it was funny because we kind of already answered this. Emily BW. I just want to like mention that she had this question because she was like, if you think about beloved drama portrayals of romantic relationships or work or parenting, is there one of these areas where watching drama has had more influence in your real life? We did kind of touch on that. I would say in regards to parenting, um well, part of me's part of me has made some of K dramas have made me really grateful for my parents. I have to I have to say that. They made
I'm
me really
glad I'm not
grateful.
a Chable. I'm glad I'm not in a Chable family.
Yeah, there are definitely some friendships too that have been inspiring to me, especially when it comes to like, women supporting women. Um a virtuous business, again, we're going to pretend the last episode didn't exist. So up until the last episode, that was also really inspiring to me just to kind of like check in on my friends more, try to be more present for them, as supportive as I can be. I mean, we're all human. We can't be everywhere at once, but I do feel like there's a lot of K-dramas that have just tried to make me a little bit more um I feel like K-dramas have reminded me to be a little bit more present in my own life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um
Look, portrayals of romantic relationships, like obviously in any sort of fictional romance, it's idealized a little bit,
yeah,
right? But because I'm the single one of the group here, but if you can if you can think of it, then it can happen, right? Like if it's something that you can conjure in your head, if you build it, they will come. Um, so, you know, only because it's the last drama that I watched, going back to Love Scout, like
okay.
to see a competent single father be able to be a total like alpha boss when he needs to be, and a total green flag romantic lead when he wants to be, and a total devoted, emotionally and physically present parent. Um, if you can dream up that character, then that means there has to be somebody out there who exists like that, right?
Right. It's
So
true.
I
I agree.
don't like, I was talking to, I have another close friend who's single, and we joke about, going on and off the dating apps and stuff like that. And right now I'm off of them because I do doom scroll on TikTok every single night. And I always come by somebody who has like a horrible dating story.
Right.
And I'm like, look, the bar is pretty low right now. If you can just show, like, at this point, I don't think if there is a guy out there my age who is not a parent, and I know not everybody decides like to be a parent, but I feel like because of being a parent myself and having my kids be such an integral part of my life, that I need somebody who understands, that type of situation. And
Fair.
so if there is a man out there who is not only a parent, but who has a whiteboard calendar and who can keep track of his own life, and his children's life and be a partner, like if you can think of it, then that person does exist. Finding him, very, very difficult. But that's kind of what I get out of the idealized versions of men in K-drama romance and in any romance. Like, and I think of it too, like when I'm writing romance, if you can think of something, it could exist. So
It's
that's my
true.
hope. That's my hope.
Well, this is kind of related. This is from Kathleen. Favorite red flags and favorite green flags. Um, we will talk about this when we cover Love Scout, but that was just a million green flags, and mostly it was the competence of the hero. And actually the competence of the heroine, I thought she was hot too.
Yes, absolutely.
I was really into her her authority was like a green flag for me. I loved how she dealt with situations. Um and so yeah, I mean his competence was just major green flag. I mean red flags are saying you love someone when you marry them but then not learn sign language even though they're
Oh my God.
that's when the phone rings. I
I
can't.
can't get
I can't.
over.
It's a red flag that he didn't learn sign language. Okay, that was a red flag to me.
Argon is a red flag. Like, I will never be over when the phone
I'll
rings.
never be over. I'll
Never.
never be over when the phone rings.
I'm
I'm sorry.
sorry.
It's going to be our punching bag for
I'm so, you know what? Like, we have to pick one drama that's going to be the punching bag until the next drama comes, right? So
right.
now like we can let like other dramas off the hook that we have punched down on
Mhm.
a little
Mhm.
bit. And it's going to be when the phone rings
I
for
mean,
a little
we were
bit.
going to punch down on the trunk but then realized we didn't really want to
We
punch it
didn't.
that much.
No.
And but
I liked
now
the
it
trunk a lot more after we podcasted on it.
yeah, that was so interesting.
It was a really interesting drama to talk about. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
but I
listen to
mean,
our
like the
podcast in the
Silent
trunk.
Sea is getting off the hook for a while now.
Oh, that was it. That was our
Yeah.
punching bag for the longest time, and pretty much now it's when the phone rings. And I'm sorry, you can still love that drama and still admit that Argon was crazy.
But yeah, I mean
That's
that is
what no, hold on. This is what we said about Love Scout. We were like Amy and I were watching it and we're like like we I think it's what how 12 episodes?
it's 12 episodes and I was on like 10.
10. And we're like as long as they don't go to Argon, this is like
It's
a
gonna
10
be a 10 out of 10 drama.
out of 10.
Like I can't like
Oh my god.
and look, I know I want to talk about Love Scout right now. We
I
won't
know we
because
won't.
I want to do the deep dive on it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, red flags and you excuse red flags a lot of times in fiction if there's a good romance attached to it. And look, I would have excused the not learning sign language if the drama would have stuck the landing because he was
I
so
probably
hot.
would have too.
He was
Yeah, I
so hot.
probably yeah, I would say right now in My Dearest Nemesis, he totally has red flags, but he has red flags that I'm like, we could make these like orange green. Like we can work with these red flags.
Yeah.
I don't
And there's still,
know.
I
We'll
mean,
see.
it's the first couple of episodes. There's still time for the backstory to
Yeah,
iron those red flags out.
that's the best part
Yeah.
about some I mean, that is, look, that is my catnip when it comes to romance novels. Usually, it's and I think this is why. I think there is a fantasy of a man who's full of red flags, and then you being the one to change him or,
Fix
make him
him.
like see the light. That is
Mhm.
a fantasy.
Yeah.
Does it happen in real life usually? No, he pretty much continues to have those red flags and he's terrible. So that's why it's fantasy, and that's why these K-dramas where he's so full of red flags are gonna get me. They are. They're gonna get me because I'm like, I mean, Healer had red flags.
I was going to say Mr. Plankton.
Oh my God, oh my God, he
He's a
was
walking red flag, but
walking red
I would take a bullet for him.
to absolutely same. So that's the thing, and um, that's why that's probably why.
Because if they have, here's what I feel like it is. If they have the right amount of emotional boo-boos to quote unquote excuse the red flags, you'll
Right,
excuse it.
right, yes,
Because you're like,
yes,
they just hurt people, and they just need fixing.
right. So if his trauma is zip ties, and he has a good reason for it to be zip ties, we will excuse the red flags of his aura and fall in love with him. That's from What's Wrong with
What's wrong with
Secretary?
Secretary Kim?
That's Park Seo-joon. So yeah, I mean, same. And but that's the red flags are usually good.
I mean, oh, I feel bad that I'm gonna not remember his name right now because I wasn't prepared to talk about it. But
Okay.
Marry My Husband,
Oh,
the
oh my God.
husband,
Yes.
he was a
Not in,
horrible.
not anew. Yeah.
No, he was the
No.
good guy, the actual
Oh, 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 oh,
husband.
oh. Oh gosh, you're right. The villain
Sorry, I'm
from
looking it up, y'all, because
Marry My Husband.
we need to have because I
Oh, he's
love
so great.
Lee
Yeah, that's it.
Kyung with that, like the biggest red flag to ever like be in a K drama. But that smile will get me every time.
Oh,
Like,
he was the type of villain too where I was like, someone could change him. Right? I was like, we could.
I thought he might have a redemption,
I
but
know.
he did not.
He did not. I know. But yeah, that's it. I mean, red flags sometimes are the best part about K-dramas. That, like I said, my dearest nemesis, he's throwing up some red flags, but there are underlying green flags I'm into.
Yeah,
It's we'll see. We'll see.
it's a fantasy.
It is.
It's a fantasy.
Um okay, I think that's all for tonight,
Yeah, I'm
right?
like, do we miss anything? I'm kind of
Think
scrolling through
so.
here.
Usually we don't make it through, just so you know, we usually don't make it through all the questions. And sometimes if we don't pick a question on Patreon, it's not because sometimes it's just because
We just
I
ran out
didn't
of
have
time.
run out of time, or I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, I can't think of a good answer for this. It doesn't mean it's
There's
a bad
that too.
question.
If we're not prepared to answer, then we just won't ask
Sometimes
it.
the questions just take more in-depth thought
So
that I'm not feeling tonight.
you all gave us some good ones that we could do off the cuff tonight.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
I appreciate that.
Me
And
too.
sometimes y'all give us questions that we want to save for a full episode too.
Yeah,
We're like, oh, this is a good idea that we could probably put a whole episode together for.
yeah.
But yeah, so Leah will be sad that she didn't get to talk about sucking on anybody's entire foot.
Mm-hmm.
But other than
Who
that,
who would she pick?
I mean, I'm sure there's a long list.
Like,
Who wouldn't she pick?
you're right. Maybe the question is who. That's what we're gonna ask her. Hold us to it. We're gonna
Whose
ask
feet
her
would you
that.
absolutely not?
Not for $1,000,000. It has
Like
to be like a
who's got
K-drama
like who
actor.
right. Like who do you think has got some janky toes?
Or who are you just like super not into? Is that mean? I don't think that's mean. It's a foot. That's not mean. We're asking her. We're asking her. And we're not, it doesn't mean anything, really.
No.
But we're gonna ask her because I need to know this. But
There
you're
might
right.
not be anybody.
She
She
would
might
do a
be
lot
open
for
to any and
free.
all feeds. She might have zero discerning taste when it comes to feet.
Because that's the thing. You and I would do it for $1,000,000. She would do most of it for free. Okay. We'll talk to her.
Oh,
We'll talk to
man.
her next time.
All right. Thank you for the
Thanks.
questions, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening. We will see you next time.
Anya.
안녕.
감사합니다. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!